Welcome to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, a homeschool mom, entrepreneur, and educator with over 20 years of experience in the areas of elementary and special education. It's my mission to help you create lifelong learners and embrace a holistic approach to education at home. I'll be sharing practical strategies, inspiration, and resources to support your family. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, or balancing work and homeschool, you're in the right place to connect with a community that values education just as much as you do. Join us each week as we ditch the stress, embrace the joy of learning, and set your family up for a lifetime of success. Welcome to Home Education with Ease. I'm your host, Christine Furman, and I'm thrilled to have you here this week as we kick off a brand new year. New year, new podcast name. And today we're diving into episode 54 and talking about setting you up for success in 2025. And I know in episode 23, we talked about SMART goals. We talked about vision boarding. We're going to dive in even more, and we're going to outline some practical steps to make 2025 your most successful year yet. From setting achievable goals to creating a vision for your family's learning journey, I'm going to share with you actionable tips and resources to help you thrive. So as we step into a new year, remember, success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. Taking the time, being intentional, being present, and enjoying the time with our families. So let's talk about how to make that happen for your family. Well, before we dive in, let's reflect on the past year, 2024. Let's look back and see what worked for your family in 2024. What were some big accomplishments that you personally accomplished? What were some accomplishments that your family accomplished and were big wins? And maybe even work-wise or friends, family, homeschool, right? All of these different areas of our life. So that is really the essence of Home Education with Ease. We are making sure that all of these areas of our lives come together because they're not separate. All of these areas have to come together and be united as one. So let's look at those. What are some things that did work? Did you communicate more clearly? Did you plan ahead? Did you accomplish something so significant? Let's reflect on those because that reflection is going to help give us clarity and direction as we continue to move forward. And then on the flip side of that, let's also look at what didn't work for you personally, for your family, for your kids. Was there a situation that made you go, I need to reflect on this. We need to take time and we need to discuss this a little bit further, or we need to gather more resources so this doesn't keep occurring. We need to communicate better. We need to set up a schedule so then that way everyone's on the same page. I know I've said that many times. I just want everyone on the same page. I want a plan. I want a schedule. I want everyone to communicate clearly. And that takes time. It takes practice. It takes effort. It takes communication. And most importantly, it does take time for all of these things to really come together. But it's just continuing to move forward one step at a time. So then what I'd love for you to do is let's look at what were your biggest wins for last year and what were your biggest challenges and how did you address it? So for me, some big wins last year, I became a best-selling contributing author. I did multiple photo shoots. I have really found the clarity to enjoy my business, enjoy the time with my children, and helping families, just realize that education really happens all around us and allowing it to happen naturally throughout the day. And then some of the biggest challenges, communication, dealing with certain situations. So by addressing these wins and challenges, You're allowing yourself that time to reflect and say, okay, this is what really worked. This is what didn't work. And how can we change it up just a little bit to really set ourselves up for success? So I encourage you to write down your reflections and share one win and one lesson in the Facebook group. So remember, Home Education with Ease is our community where we can come together and we can support each other on our educational journey, wherever that may be. So that link is going to be in the show notes below for you guys. And something that I want to just add here is those mistakes are learning opportunities. So those challenges that we went through, they are opportunities to learn and to grow. And that's important for us personally as adults to recognize and continue to grow and improve in those areas, but also for our kids. When they make a mistake, I want them to see that as a learning opportunity. I don't want them to see that as a failure. I want them to get back up and try again, because you know what? That particular way did not work. So what do I have to do differently to see success? And I may have to fall down 10 times. I just have to get up one more time to see success. So I think that's so important for our families, for our kids, is just knowing that mistakes are part of learning. And we're not expecting them to get everything right the first time. And if we have any perfectionists here, I know I am a recovering perfectionist, really trying hard to not make everything so perfect, but to see the success, to see the opportunity for growth. And I see that even in my own children, because they want to do it right and they want to do it well for us. And we are just giving them that opportunity to say, it's okay to make a mistake. And maybe for us, that's something that we have to learn and, try it again. Because if you think back, if you were in a traditional school, maybe you got the big red check mark on your paper. Nope, you failed. You messed up. You made a mistake and you got it wrong. And that's it. That's the end of the story. Well, that's not the end of the story. How do I fix that mistake? Because that's what life is all about. It's all about fixing our mistakes. And yes, some of them, they may take a long time to fix. But we're here to lift each other up. We're here to lift up our kids, to say these mistakes are opportunities for you to grow. It's an opportunity for me then to say, okay, you know what? If I'm thinking of educating my children and it's a concept that they didn't understand, great. That to me means I need to go back and reteach it, or I need to find another resource to teach it to them in a way that they understand. Not, nope, that's it. You didn't get it. You don't understand this concept, so we're just moving on. That is not my philosophy at all. The whole point of educating at home is to really allow our children to figure out what way works best for them. How do they learn best? How are they going to allow these skills and concepts to sink in so then that way they can remember it? And that's what home education really is all about. Sorry, little side note there, but it's really so important. A lot of times we can look at our successes throughout the year and we can say, yes, great, I did X, Y, and Z. Or if you had a really tough year, you can look at the challenges and say, I'm a failure. I didn't do well this year. I didn't make any accomplishments. And that's not true. All of those are stepping stones to get to your next step. So keep that in mind as you are reflecting. All right, so let's look at creating a vision for 2025. And let's first define what that vision is. And take a minute, we've talked about this before, but take some time as a family and set up a family meeting. We did this just recently where over the holiday break, we make our vision boards. And it was an opportunity for us to discuss our goals for 2025. What do we want to do? What do we have to do to get there to achieve those goals? If you have big, ambitious goals, you've got to work hard to make those goals happen. And your kids need to see that. If they have big, ambitious goals, I want to start a business. I want to do whatever that may be. There are steps that they need to take to make that goal happen. And we are the ones that are right there beside them to help encourage them along the way and lift them up and support them every step of the way. So I want you to think about this with your family, right? Sit around with your family, and I want you to discuss what success looks like for your family in 2025. Is it more structure? Is it more flexibility? It could be either or, right? Or you can be trying to find a balance. For us personally, we have a balance of structure and flexibility, and that works for us. But that may not work for you. Maybe you do need to have more structure throughout the day. Maybe you need to, talk about your routine and the setting of your home, right? Of how things are set up in your home. And maybe you do need a little bit more organization. Or maybe it is too strict and maybe you just need to let loose a little bit and everything needs to be a little bit more flexible. I think finding that balance between structure and flexibility is really key because our kids thrive on routine and structure. But we have to also remember that they're kids, that flexibility is so important because things come up, situations come up, moods happen, hormones happen, our own personal hormones, our children's moods and energy, right? So we need to have a routine, but we also need to say there's some room for flexibility here. Maybe you want to include more joy in your learning. Maybe you want to include more hands-on in your learning. What does that look like for you? Jot those all down. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out because that is something that I love helping families do. I love helping families find these hands-on activities. That's what the EduPlay Learning Curriculum is all about. I love helping families find that routine and that structure. And we're going to talk about that even more in next episode. So be sure to stay tuned because these are some great things, great conversations to have with your family and be talking about what it is that your family wants. What are some of those core values? Do you value honesty and trust, integrity, authenticity, fun, creativity, right? All of these things are part of our core values and what is important for your family. So I encourage you to talk about this vision, create a mission statement for your family, and set up your own vision for 2025 to inspire them, to encourage them, to keep your family on track for the vision that you have for your family and your life, and to really help set them up for a lifetime of success. Because coming together as a family is really bringing everyone together, making sure that their voices are heard, allowing their thoughts to be part of that conversation. It's very, very important. So here's an example, and this is pretty true for my family, our mission statement. So our mission as a family is to nurture a love for learning, build strong character, and cultivate curiosity in our children by creating a personalized, faith-filled, and engaging educational experience. We strive to equip our children with skills, knowledge, and values they need to thrive as lifelong learners and compassionate contributors to the world. So it's always been a goal of mine to provide the best possible education for my children. And I constantly need to reflect on that. And what does that mean? What does that mean as I build my business? What does that mean as I take on another project? What does that mean as we travel as a family? Well, during those opportunities, those are learning opportunities for my children as well. So when we do travel, they're learning from other family members as we travel. Just recently, they built and measured and cut and all the things to make a new ladder for their playhouse. And it's all of these moments that go together that allow them to be learning anywhere, everywhere, and from everyone around them. Because everyone has something to contribute, something to teach. Maybe it's my Italian grandmother that can teach them how to count to 10 in Italian. And it's just those little things that are contributing to their education. Maybe it's, a family member taking them out and allowing them to enjoy time away from you. And they're going to lunch and allowing them to show off their table manners, allowing them to show off how they behave at a movie or at the store, right? Each of these moments are learning opportunities. And just remember that you are creating this mission and this vision. But remember, things change season to season. Some seasons may be busier. Some seasons I have busy time with work and my business. And then other seasons, it is focused solely on their education and their curriculum. So what does this season look like for you? Just remember, take some time. And I encourage you, we talked about reflecting on 2024 and setting up 2025. Maybe get a journal for this. Maybe it's a family journal or whiteboards or poster boards and reflecting on, okay, this is stuff that we really enjoyed in 2024. This is stuff that we didn't really enjoy. This is our new path for 2025. These are our goals. This is our vision, our mission. Because 2025 is going to be amazing. I feel that in my bones that 2025 is just going to be an amazing year. So I'm praying that for you and your family as you continue on this journey of reflection and, visioning, writing down these visions and missions and all of those things. So I want you to have the opportunity to go through this. So I created a free download. It's called Home Education Vision Template, and it's going to guide you through this process. So you can download that. The link is going to be in the show notes there below. So you can check that out, and it's going to kind of guide you through this process, which again, you can do a vision board, you could do poster board, you could do whiteboards. Maybe you have big whiteboards around your house, or even a family journal, and you keep coming back to this month after month. Every time you have a family meeting, you're going to reflect on what we set for our goals for 2025 and how are we going to continue to make sure that we're on track. And here's some of the things. So we're going to talk about these goals, and we talked about them in episode 53. We talked about these SMART goals, okay? And there's a couple different acronyms. The one that I shared with you last episode was specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. I looked it up again, and the SMART goals, and the acronym is SMART. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So very similar, but that relevant and time-bound. So timely, realistic, same thing. But I just wanted to share that with you. So these are going to be on this download as well. Okay. Setting up your SMART goals and some examples, let's say for homeschooling, right? I want to complete 3 unit studies by summer. Well, what does that mean? How are we breaking this down, right? Or I want to introduce 1 new hands-on learning activity per week. I want to dedicate Fridays to field trips or family projects. All of these goals are things that I help with in the EduPlay Learning curriculum and academy. So if you are looking for a curriculum for your family, for home education, please be sure to reach out and learn more about EduPlay learning and how it can best fit your needs of your family, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to take these big goals, right? I'm going to teach my kids everything there is, and we're going to break it down so it is achievable. And here's something to think about. Focus on 1 to 3 goals per quarter to avoid overwhelm and to be able to track your progress easily. Here's a little honest confession. That is an area that I've had to improve in over the years, because I pick these audacious goals and I think that I can accomplish all the things in a small amount of time. And realizing that these goals are big goals, and being able to break them down and just doing a little bit each time is going to help move the needle forward. I heard this from a friend, a previous coach of mine, but even if you were to take 15 to 20 minutes on that goal, you're moving that needle forward a little bit each day. And that's just so cool to think about. And that could be for anything. That could be for reading. You know, maybe you as a mom want to start reading more. Well, pick up your book and read for 5 minutes. It doesn't even have to be a big amount. Maybe you want to start going for a walk, moving your body more, exercising. Start small and continue to build up. And then it allows us to focus on those big goals, right? So we set a big goal and then we break it down. All right, I just jumped ahead of myself, but one of our Facebook group members asked, how do I stay consistent with my goals? And the advice is, like I said, to break down those big goals into small weekly tasks. This makes them feel less daunting and more achievable. So like I said, this is an area that even myself, I have a lot of things going on, right? The business, homeschooling my kids, being a mom, running a house, my husband travels, right? There's always a lot of things going on. But how do we stay consistent? By keeping those goals at the forefront and then breaking them down into small chunks and just being able to accomplish a small little task. You are going to be surprised how quickly you're able to achieve those big goals. So I would love for you to tell me, what are your top 3 goals for 2025? Feel free to share them in our Facebook group or tag me on Instagram so I can cheer you on as you reach for these goals. And it could be 3 homeschooling goals. It could be 3 personal goals. It could be a combination. It could be 3 of each, right? What are your goals? Because I know for me, I have personal goals and I have business goals and I even have homeschool goals, right? I do really have these 3 areas of my life, but it's all about bringing them together. How can I move my body more while educating my kids, while running my business? Well, guess what? Whenever spend a good quality amount of time with my kids, I can go for a walk. I'm really pouring into myself there, giving myself the opportunity to move my body, get some fresh air, get some me time. And it's also my opportunity then to listen to messages that came through or respond to messages. So I took all 3 of my areas, homeschooling and my work and my personal, and I'm able then to say, okay, well, this is an opportunity for me to work on each of those goals a little bit at a time. So keep those things in mind. And I would love, love, love to know, what are your top 3 goals for 2025? So today we talked about reflecting on 2024, creating that big vision for 2025, and setting actionable goals to make this year a success. And remember, you don't have to do it all at once. These small, consistent steps are going to lead to big results. I believe in you so much, and I know that you are going to accomplish huge things in 2025. Well, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any episodes. Next week, we're going to be diving into setting up your space and your schedule for success. And don't forget, download that free home education vision template that links in the show notes below, and be sure to join the Home Education with Ease Facebook group as well. Here's to creating lifelong learners in 2025. Thank you for tuning in to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling empowered and ready to take the next steps on your home education journey. Your support means the world to me. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. For even more resources, be sure to join the free Facebook group, Home Education with Ease, and visit eduplaylearning.com to explore programs and subscription kits. You can find the links and any other links mentioned in this episode in the show notes below. Remember, you're not alone. This community is here to support you every step of the way.